I'm going to begin, Ben, by asking, I mean, there's just something about boxing films that just translates so well into cinema. I was wondering what you think it is about this particular sport that just makes for such incredible kind of movies across the last sort of few decades.
I think that it's a large scale, very dramatic parable for everyday conflicts and difficulties that we face, and it allows pretty much everyone to take something from it in the sense of, I thought I had a problem, I wasn't sure what to do, look what this guy did, whichever boxing film, because it's always a comeback of some sorts too. That's the part, you always hear just boxing film, but the truth is every boxing film seems to be a comeback of some sorts. And I think that's the part that, I think that's why it endures. I think it's just a great parable for not giving up and perseverance and will to survive.
Yeah, because even though I just went straight in with a boxing question, are you quite keen to let sort of audiences know that this isn't just a boxing movie, though? There's so much more to this, isn't there?
I am, and I seem to not have to shout it. People seem to be getting that. Women respond to the film in a way that makes me quite happy, and boxing is more a backdrop. I mean, I think Vinny could have been a crossing guard, and if Miles did his job right, which he did, you'd be like, I need to see him cross children again.
When it came to casting Vinny, I mean, with Miles, as he sort of portrayed in Whiplash, he played someone who just didn't give up to a point where you believed in it to an incredible extent. I was wondering if that particular performance and that role did inform your decision to cast him for this movie.
It didn't. I'd chosen him before Whiplash came out. I'd seen a movie called Spectacular Now, which he's incredible in. And I saw Whiplash after I'd sort of already pretty much made my choice. And then, yes, that confirmed it. But no, I was on board prior.
And did you spend much time with the real Vinny? And if so, what's he like in real life?
Is. He's very much alive.
Yeah.
I did spend a lot of time with him. I continue to do so. He and I went to Dallas 3 weeks ago for a fight, Canelo Smith. So Vinny is very much around. He's fantastic. You couldn't ask for a more helpful subject as far as making a movie about somebody's life, right?
If I said that was nice, I know he's definitely alive. But nervous of hearing of his reaction to the movie. I mean,
He's seen it.
Yeah, I was about to say, were you quite nervous of when
I showed it to him?
When you showed it to him, yeah.
I was a little bit anxious, but 5 minutes in, he was crying, so I thought we did okay.
Yeah, when you have a subject who's someone like that, someone who just doesn't give up or they don't know when to give up, does it inspire you personally? Because obviously that's the main protagonist in your movie. So when you've got that person at the centre of everything, I mean, does that kind of rub off on you when you're just in everyday life?
Yeah, and that's the point of the film. It's supposed to rub off on everyone in their everyday lives. It's a populist film. It's not meant to alienate anyone. It's supposed to be very accessible.
I mean, it's incredibly hard to watch when he gets back in the ring. I think every single punch that's sort of being thrown at him is you just wince because you're so kind of the way you've shot it in such a way is that he's so fragile in those kind of stages. When you watch the film back, when you watch those particular scenes back, do you wince?
At this point, no, but if you've seen it 600 times, you would feel the same as me. But I am glad that you said that because that was a friend of mine who's a filmmaker watched the film and he said that was the one note he gave me. He said, you have to make it even clearer that his neck is on. So we had the announcer say at the end in that Duran fight a couple times about the neck of Pazienza.
And Martin Scorsese's name is sort of crops up in the credits. I mean, I was wondering how that collaboration came about and if you're going to kind of collaborate with anyone in this particular genre, he's not a bad person to do it with.
No, he's not. Marty asked to meet me because of Wolf of Wall Street and the film I had made years ago called Boiler Room. And I guess Marty does a thing where he assembles a number of films before he makes his next one, and they use it as reference material, and he makes his crew watch the film. And he called me in to tell me that Boiler Room had been on that list and that they had all watched it and that I'd made a great film.
I wish I was close enough to call him Marty.
Marty.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, he calls me Kid, so...
That's pretty cool. This is your first feature-length film in 11 years. I was wondering what was the reason behind that particular sort of gap?
It's a great question. How much time do you have? The gap was me not getting a film made, an Isle of Man film, which ironically I'm now shooting in March, but I wrote a script for it in 06, 07, and I couldn't get it made. It was the first time I had delivered a script to Hollywood, and everyone said, no thanks. So I was just kind of stunned and amazed, and I needed that because I had had too easy a time making both Boiler Room and Prime. So I stepped away. I got my pilot's license. What did I do? I raced professionally motorcycles for 2 years in the States in the CCS series. I cooked at a restaurant in Costa. I just had a real experiential 10 years of like living and still doing writing, still staying somewhat in the business. But then this story, you asked earlier about if it had an effect on me personally. I mean, that's why I came to direct. I took this as a writing assignment. I wasn't meant to direct this movie. But then when I realized, wait a second, Vinny's story is my story. I mean, if you don't make a movie for 10 years in Hollywood, you have a broken neck, I mean, proverbially. So once I made that parallel, I was like, this is it. I got to make this movie.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Sure.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey, you guys!